Hey, welcome back to the Board Game Closet. My name's Jimmy.
I'm Tim.
And I'm Rod.
And today we're going to be taking a look at Battletech. This is put out by Catalyst Games, plays in 10 hours. And
Enough.
Sorry. I'm not sure how long a typical game is, but it plays, how many players can you do?
As many as you want?
As many as you want.
Yeah.
So as many players as you want, and it takes as long as you want it to. So
That could be long.
that could be long. So Tim, maybe you want to get us started and tell us about maybe what the game is about first. We can just talk about what it is and those kinds of things.
Yeah, this game is about the future, where there's big mechs that are piloted by people, and it's basically just big mech combat. So instead of you imagine playing a tank game, where you have a tank rolling across the battlefield, instead it's a walking mech. And
A robot.
The game is all based around the mechs having lots of armor, can take lots of hits, and they just blast each other to pieces. And that's basically the game. It's all played out on these hex boards here, with these the models. You can get metal models from Irwin's.
Island miniatures.
And then, but these ones from the introductory box set that we're showing here, all are just the regular plastic.
So Battletech itself has been around since the mid-'80s. FOSSA was the original company. Originally called Battle Droids, and then Lucas got angry with that, and then with the Battletech. A lot of you probably already familiar with Battletech MechWarrior, with the video games, and just there was even the cartoon that was out, and so there's just been a million things, tons of books. There's been a million things out there for it. The game itself, the way it plays, basically, like you were saying, was with a hex board. Each player is going to have a sheet for each mech. And with that mech, what you're going to have is he'll have internal armor and external armor, then internal numbers also. So what happens when he gets hit, we find a location, we mark off that many points. Now, what determines damage is what type of weapon was used. So if you have like what they call PPC, that does 10 points of damage. It could be missiles, and that has a variety of damage that can be done to it. The game itself is your mechs. Things that are looked at when you're trying to hit each other are things like movement, if you moved, if he moved, if you're in cover, that type of thing. The game is slower. The game's been out a long time. It's the old hex board type game, and for newer gamers, I've found it's harder for them to get into it. It just seems because of how slow the game is. Realistically, each person controlling 1 to 4 mechs, normally it's probably going to be 1 to 2 mechs, is about the maximum because they'll mix up their sheets of paper and that type of thing. We played a short game which lasted probably a couple hours, and we didn't kill it. I don't think anybody got killed in it.
Short game, 2 hours,
So
no one died.
It is a very long game.
Nobody won.
If you're into the old war games and you like, what I mean by that is like the old Avalon Hill war games that use hexes or squad leader, that type of thing. This is a good futuristic game for that type of person who likes those games. The game's got, the license is fantastic. You just have hundreds and hundreds of different mechs, and they even have it down to an equation where you can build your own mechs and by engine type and the type of armor and everything, so that you can't build a monstrosity, this giant thing that has 100 million, has 100 lasers on it. You can't do anything that takes it out of the scale of the game. So it's pretty neat. It's pretty ingenious actually, and it's just I've always thoroughly enjoyed it. But again, I've noticed that some of the newer people that are into gaming, they don't enjoy it as much as I do. Let's talk real quick about this itself, the Battletech box that you get in the starter set. For anyone who hasn't played before, this is a very good starter set. You get all these pieces. If you were to buy these from Ironwind, you're looking around $10 a piece, and it's going to be more than that. And you're getting about, I think you got 28 to 30 of these pieces. The plastic, they're pretty nice. They're not as nice as the lead miniatures, but they're nice little pieces, and they're paintable and everything. And for a beginner, it would last them a long time. You really wouldn't have to buy anything for a while. So this is a self-contained game. Map boards are nice.
You get 2 of them.
You get
They're pretty
4,
thick cardboard stock.
Oh, you get
right.
4 of them? Wow.
Yeah, they're nice and thick. The only problem I have is some of them are a little kind of dark. They're not as colorful, I guess, as I would like, because it is kind of hard at times to identify what location is at what height and that type of thing. You get, of course, all the mechs. Well, a ton of mechs in their sheets. I laminated these, but you get the paper. I just make copies, and then you laminate them, and they're nice. You get map boards. You get decent instructions that separate the pieces.
You get like lots of fluff books too, that talk about the different sections of the not galaxies, that whole area.
Right.
Inner sphere.
Yeah. So they got those clans that come into the inner sphere and stuff like that. But I believe this introductory only covers the inner sphere stuff, right?
Right, and it's pretty much the basic 3025 era type thing, and it's very basic. It's dealing mainly with mechs because there's armor available that you can buy, so you can have tanks and stuff, infantry, that type of thing is available out there too. And there's a role-playing game to this. There's all types of, this whole world has been really, it's written out there. I mean, it's a nice little science fiction world.
So let's go ahead and start talking about the rule books and stuff that they got here. So they have the Quickstart Rules that basically says, hey, put your guy down on the hex, and then use his stats, right? And then it goes over quickly how to track your damage, right? So it's basically all you need to know: movement and damage, right? And how to use each one of your weapons. And then it briefly goes over the different effects of the different terrain on the board. So it's nice and quick, quick start rules. And then of course, I believe it does recommend that you start with just one mech each, maybe a 2-player game to start off with. And then it gets into the rule book. It's pretty thick. It's got some pictures and stuff in it, not really in the artwork. But it's basically more about the stats in the game and the different ways you can modify the battles and the different types of units that are going to come into play that you can go out and you can get and stuff like that. It goes into pretty good detail. It's organized well, so you can quickly reference it by the sections there on the edge of the instruction booklet. So it does keep it so you can actually come back to it, because you're not going to remember all these stuff like that. The problem too with having a huge rule book like this is sometimes there's slightly conflicting or maybe a little bit iffy rules, and so you're going to have arguments over over what the rules actually meant or what they actually said and stuff like that. So that is a little bit of issue with this game.
So at the end of our reviews, we like to do a simple buy it, play it, or hate it rating. So if we give this game a red die, that means we hate it. Don't play this game. Don't even buy it. White means that you would play it, but maybe you wouldn't necessarily buy it. And then green means go buy this game, add it to your collection. And so I need some dice over here. I don't have any. Okay. All right. And so we'll put our dice out there and we will reveal them.
Shocker. Okay.
2 red and a green. So before we destroy it, tell us why you love this game.
Okay, so we've discussed this before. So some of this might be the fact that I played this game back in the 80s, and this was one of the big games then. And I've got probably 150 miniatures that I've had, and I always enjoyed the game. I love the world, love the video games, a whole bit. That might be part of it, but the truth is, when I look at this, for the value of what you're getting, if you want to get into this type of game, it's a no-brainer. You have to buy it. I do understand other people's complaints on it, but as for the value, I believe it was $38 is what I want to say the cost was. It's a good buy.
Sure. This was a red for me. Very clearly red. Just because, one, it's not my style of game. I'm just not into the battle war type stuff like this. I like the theme. I like sci-fi stuff, futuristic stuff. But it was slow moving, complicated rules, arguments over rules. The stat sheet that you had to read another stat sheet to make changes for hits and all. It just really killed it for me there. And the one game that we played that one night was just like, it drug on. And so it just wasn't for me. So this is a red.
Well, I gave it a red die because over the years I've picked this game up, played it, let it go, and then picked it back up and played it. And I've collected miniatures, and I've still got piles of miniatures for it. That seemed to be more fun than the actual playing the game for me. But over the years, I've actually played other miniature games, and those have actually evolved and and stuff. And those rules and stuff like that, how they play, just seemed simpler, but kept the feeling that the game was complex in nature. And this one just keeps the complexity of the rules. And to me, when comparatively speaking, it could have been a lot simpler. So for me, it's a red dice. I wouldn't buy it again. I wouldn't pick it up.
I feel like we're talking about your mom or something. Like, I feel bad. Like, we're just tearing it apart. But so there are people that absolutely love this game, and then new guys to me that walk in, and I just think there's probably something else I'd rather play. So
And I would agree with that 100%. I mean, I know with my kids, it's pretty much a no-go with them on the most part. They'll play it every once in a while, but they don't have the interest that I definitely had.
Which is sad for you, because I know you probably, all those great memories of this, you're probably dying to go back and experience that again with this game.
Well, I always think of it as that they're inferior players, and they just can't play up against me. That's the way I look at it.
So this is a red die. Anyway, so thanks for watching our review of Battletech. We've got a lot more reviews online. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter. We've got a website, boardgamecloset.com, and Instagram. And as always,
Support your local hobby shop and buy this game.
buy this